One day, the main character got a visitor in his apartment. Then the main character got two ladies as his visitor for today, and it was the first time of the blonde gal in his place. By the way, the main character already have a special relationship with the black-haired gal. These gals were a part of the popular circle, and the main character got recently acquainted with the black-haired gal. Suddenly, the blonde gal confronted the main character if he did some cultured stuff to her friend. The main character was hesitating to answer that private question, because the main character and the black-haired gal already got some bonding moments. Then the black-haired gal voiced out the truth, and she proudly said that she let the main character score. The blonde gal was surprised that her friend just gave a nobody a big W. So, the black-haired gal explained that it was actually a win-win situation for both, because the main character let her use his room filled with manga for free. The blonde gal told her to stop letting the main character win for her reputation. However, the black-haired gal doesn't care about taking an L, as long as she enjoys. Then the black-haired gal handed an AOT manga to the blonde gal, because she wanted her to be converted to the otaku culture. 2 weeks later, the main character is alone with the blonde gal in his apartment, and the blonde gal's attention was locked to the AOT manga. Then she was ordering the main character to give her a normal massage. The main character obeyed her request, and his eyes noticed that her Bermuda Triangle was looks maxing. Therefore, that scenery inspired the main character to awaken his sleeping kraken. The blonde gal finished reading the manga, and she noticed the main character's raging creature. So, she decided to let the main character do whatever he wanted. The food was already presented to the main character, and he started devouring the front yard melons. Then the main character smelled her flower garden. The blonde gal was bored with his starter activities. So, she commanded the main character to go to the main event right away. The main character equipped the safety equipment, and the blonde gal received the clapping exercise. Then the main character was acting like a creeper, so she was trash-talking his face. Eventually, he gave the blonde gal a basic explosion. After that, the blonde gal was disappointed, because the main character have no talent. The main character don't want her to be disappointed. Therefore, he will use his unlimited stamina for her. Then the main character gave her another clapping exercise. The main character discovered her weakness, and her lucky 7 jackpot was getting attacked. So, the blonde gal was now making some verbal expression. The main character was giving her danger zone the rod of destruction, and she was turned into a crystal clear mineral water producer. Then the main character did not let the blonde lady rest. A couple of hours later, the main character ran out of safety equipment. However, his brave legendary sword was still standing for glory. The main character promised to her that he can retreat on time. However, promises were meant to be broken. The main character became the one-thrust man, and he accidentally gave her an indoor Big Bang explosion. The damage have been done, so the main character continued giving her the clapping exercises. The blonde gal is the type of a strong independent woman. However, she became a changed person, because of the main character's relentless attacks on the weak spot, and she was now letting the main character gave her some smooches. Then the main character gave her the rod of destruction for additional damage, and he gave her an overflowing creamy milkshake. In addition, the main character said the I love you sentence for some cultural effect. After that, the main character was already low on oxygen, but he decided not to stop his legendary sword from doing its job. Suddenly, the black-haired gal entered the main character's apartment. Then the black-haired gal saw the unholy activities, and the main character have no way of defending himself from getting cooked in this situation. The black-haired gal was giving them a cold treatment, and she was looking at them with disgust. Then the black-haired gal told the blonde gal that she made her wait in their meeting place. The blonde gal felt bad and apologized. The main character tried to calm down the black-haired gal, but the black-haired gal kicked the main character's family jewels. Then the blonde gal was horrified witnessing that anger. After that events, the main character did not have any gals visiting his apartment for 2 weeks. The blonde gal invited the black-haired gal to join her get some parfait at the cafe, and the pink-haired gal was also joining too. Then the black-haired gal rejected her offer and left. The blonde gal cancelled their cafe time, and she gave the main character an angry look before leaving the scenario. The pink-haired gal noticed that something was going on with her friends, and she can sense that the main character have something to do with this situation. Later that day, the main character went home. However, he did not notice that the pink-haired gal was following him. So, the main character got a new visitor. Then she entered the main character's apartment, and she wanted the main character to give her information about her friends. The pink-haired gal was able to convince the main character to squeeze out all the details, and she started laughing, because the reason was just an otaku scoring twice. Then she asked the main character if he was in love with the black hair gal. The main character is not sure about his answer. So, the pink hair gal tried attracting the main character, and she guaranteed that she can give him a level up experience compared to her friends. The main character rejected her, because he was tired of destroying others' friendship. However, the pride of the pink hair gal won't accept his rejection. So, the main character just go with the flow. Then the pink hair gal gave the main character a helping hand, and she was using her professional handicraft skills. The pink hair gal gave the main character the go signal, so the main character created a volcanic eruption. Her hands were coated with a creamy dessert, and she was doing a flavor tasting. Then she gave the main character the Gulp Gulp 3000, and the main character awakened his legendary sword. However, the pink hair gal cancelled all the cultural events. Then she ordered the main character to participate for a 1-week NNN, and if he completed that mission, she will give him a ticket to enter her sacred sanctuary. The main character accepted her challenge, because he is a man of culture. After that, the pink hair gal visits the main character's apartment every day, and she always gives the main character a helping hand. In addition, she also gives the main character the Gulp Gulp 3000. However, she never lets the main character finish the race, and she always puts him at the edge of glory. 1 week later, and the lucky day will be today. Then the main character's legendary sword was already raging with power. The pink hair gal approached the main character, and she was commending the main character for a good game well played for completing his mission. Then she let the main character see her colored white triangle sacred treasure, and she will see him later in his apartment. Meanwhile, the blonde gal noticed that suspicious events. Anyways, the main character and the pink hair gal were now in the apartment. Then she gave the main character the freedom pass. The main character asked permission to entry on the private property, but first, she wanted to know the main character's feelings if he likes her. Then the main character told her that he likes her. The pink hair gal asked if he likes her more than the black hair gal. The main character decided to let his rod do all the thinking. So, he said yes. After hearing his answers, she decided to let him win. Then the main character became the one thrust man, and he gave her a big bang explosion. After that, she knows that the main character was not yet satisfied. Then they performed a series of clapping exercise. A few hours later, and the bonding time was completed. However, the main character requested for more, because she promised to drain his legendary weapon. They already run out of safety equipment, but she says bet. So, she was now riding on the Iron Pegasus. The main character noticed that she was getting weakened. Therefore, he gave her the Rod of Destruction, and he gave her a creamy milkshake too. The pink hair gal wanted to cancel the cultural activities, but the main character was not listening to her, because his cultural instinct was making all the decision. Then the main character hit the lucky 7 jackpot, and she was turned into a water fountain. Her woman empowerment aura was reduced, and she was now getting defeated by the main character's Rod of Destruction. Then her brain was malfunctioning, and she keeps on transforming into a water fountain. The main character gave her some smooches, and he gave her an indoor Big Bang explosion. After a while, the cultural event ended, and the main character was hit with the explosion clarity. So, his mind was now clear. Then the main character remembered the black hair gal. The main character confessed his true feelings, and told the pink hair gal that he was more in love with the black hair gal. So, she was annoyed with his statement. Suddenly, the blonde gal appeared. The blonde gal saw the cultural event, and heard the main character's statement. Then she was mocking the pink hair gal from getting defeated by the main character's unlimited stamina. The blonde gal also trash-talked the main character, because he easily gives into temptation. Then she ordered the main character to confess his feelings to the black hair gal. That's the end of this cultural anime recap. Moral lesson of the story: always practice one-woman policy to avoid future tragedy. Anyways, here is your creamy sauce, and make sure that it's limited to the culturally matured people only, and thank you for watching.